My name is Sarah Loudon. I live in Abbotsford, British Columbia. I'm a registered nurse currently working in the operating room. I live in Abbotsford with my husband and my two sons on a little hobby farm where we farm very badly. And yeah, I have ADHD. My sons have ADHD. And it's become a big focus in our lives over the last few years.
Well, my name is Anne Elizabeth Turner, and I am 76 years old, and I do counseling with a few individuals that have ADHD themselves. I also am a practicing artist, and I make it a point of helping people out by giving them support through using art as a therapy.
I'm Dr. Michelle Francis. I'm a pediatrician in Nanaimo. I've been working here since 2010. That's after I graduated from Queen's University. I used to do general pediatrics, but I have switched over about 5 years ago to do just neurodevelopmental pediatrics. I really enjoy working with the kids with ADHD, autism, FASD, various different neurodiversities, and so that's what I do exclusively in my practice.
Hi, my name is Sean Booton. I'm 41, and I've been diagnosed with ADHD and kind of self-diagnosed with autism for about a year and a half or so now.
My name is Caitlin. I'm 42. My husband has ADHD, as do both of my kids. So currently, I'm the only one in the family who doesn't have an ADHD diagnosis.
My name's Nayeli Needham. I'm 45 years old. I'm a mother of two, including two cattle dogs. I live in Squamish, BC. And I'm an educator, but I also work in employment services. That basically means we help people find employment. I've become quite passionate about work related to inclusivity and accessibility, which brings me to this world of ADHD. I was diagnosed at 42 years old, and it's been a life changer, really, because I've been able to better handle life day to day.
Looking back, what was the earliest? The earliest signs that I had ADHD were probably the fact that I am hyperverbal. I was always the kid who talked too much. I would follow people around, just at them, and it was, yeah, like from birth, I've been that kid. I have also been described as a literal 3-year-old as the crankiest child somebody has ever met. So very big emotions, very strong emotional reactions to everything. I was not an organized kid. I was fairly smart, so I got the stereotypical, oh, they're smart, they just don't necessarily, if they would just apply themselves. And so yeah, that was definitely a part of it. Object permanence, like losing things. I was a little bit better about that in that I was able to kind of come up with systems, and I always have systems to kind of try to keep myself organized, which is how I've managed to, become moderately successful in, certain areas of my life. But it's always been a struggle. So I would forget to hand in homework all the time. So even though I was relatively smart, it would not always show up in my grades. There would be some processes that just would not make sense when it was explained in a certain way, and I needed to get to the bottom of it and to be able to pick the whole thing apart just to understand it.
At the time, I didn't know why I didn't fit in. I just knew that I was always had these random ideas and these random songs and all these little really weird quirks that weren't aligning with typical behavior. And that's just, kids notice, right? And, but I always was told that I was just shy. You're weird. Why are you so weird? You're weird. And I knew it wasn't unique or special, because those are, let's just say, in the umbrella of differences, you're different. Well, I mean, not even that doesn't sound so bad, but to be weird is it's kind of like, it's like a life sentence. Like, you're just weird, and you're in the weird category. And so you hear that message enough times, and you begin to mold yourself into a person who is even weirder. And sometimes those choices aren't really your first choice, but you feel like you have to, at least if I'm going to be weird, I may as well look weird and act weird because I'm being told I'm weird. And so if, again, I was able to go back in time and talk to myself as a child, I'd say, I'd maybe choose other words other than weird, like you're unique, you're special, you're cool, you're awesome, and then maybe I would have grown up having a lot more self-esteem. I think a lot of the choices I've made in life is because I've believed I'm not good enough.
I knew when I was about 5 or 6 that something was not right. They were only just finding out about it.
Specific learning disabilities take many forms, and one child can be very different from another. Jan is soft-spoken, conscientious, a model of good behavior. Her reading and writing are good. But a language disability makes it difficult to remember even simple directions.
Jan, would you do me a favor and go to the cupboard and bring 3 sheets of paper, some scissors, and some paste?
Okay.
Now, what did I ask you to bring?
Paste.
What other things did I ask you?
Back then, because they didn't understand that it was hard to pay attention in class too. If I wasn't interested in that subject, I just zoned out. And that brought me into detention too, because I wasn't paying attention. You know, if I didn't like the subject in school, I would just zone out. And I'd be off, like, or if there's something that I could look at. I can use the example when I was in school in Ottawa. This school was bordering a farm, and there were horses out there. And I would just look out there, and I'd just imagine I was, you know, going on this horse, and I was going to go somewhere. And I want to know if you're going to join the class today. Are you going to join us? and yeah. Yeah, I was paying attention as well as I could pay attention. My approach to trying to make friends didn't always go the right way. And I was told to actually not play with some people. I was always on the playground, and I was always off by myself because nobody would play with me either. So I started basically going into myself and being very isolated. I got called names a lot. I got called stupid. Trying to do the work in school was really hard because you constantly there's this voice inside you that's telling you that you're stupid because you've heard it so many times. You're stupid because obviously you can't figure out how to do this work. That's basically the learning disabilities, but it's also the ADHD because it's you're constantly trying to do what the rest of the kids are doing, but you can't seem to do it. To be constantly wondering why you're doing what you're doing, and you're always, like, as I'd say myself, getting into trouble all the time, it made me very anxious. It made me anxious to go to school. I didn't like to go to school. It was hard. I mean, all you have to do is look at my report cards and all those disgusting comments that the teachers made about me, and all those F's and D's. I even had an assessment done where they said that they didn't think I would ever be able to even attend university, let alone complete a program of study. And this person did an assessment on me. She saw me for 3 days, doing extensive assessments and psychological testings. And that's what came out of the thing, that I should take some kind of a job like a do cleaning, using those words that you're stupid and things like that. Those sorts of things never go away. Oh, well, they do. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to say, be very truthful. They never do go away.
So when I was younger, I mean now as well, but when I was a kid, I was a lot more reserved. I had a lot of the hyper focus that I would, that looking back, I didn't think anything of it, but now it's like, yeah, kind of a bit more obvious. I was definitely a lot more like socially awkward in that sense, like more of the autism side of things. There's definitely looking back, it explains a lot, but it also kind of there's not a regret, but it's like it's like a regret that how things would have gone if I had been diagnosed as a kid rather than at 40.
Something that he shared with me is feeling it's less of a sense of blame for himself, like having an understanding of like, oh, this is just how my brain works, and that's okay, or it works differently, so maybe I have to do things differently, rather than thinking I'm doing something wrong, or so I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know how that sounds, but that's something you've shared with me.
Yeah, it gives that explanation, and that it's not, I don't know, that I wasn't weird or wasn't like doing anything wrong. It was just that's just how my brain works. It makes almost everything so much harder, just as a blanket thing. It's it's organizing, it's managing time, getting up and remembering to take my pills. Everything is hard. Like that's
it's a whole other layer on top of all of the day-to-day things that you have to do.
Yeah, because it's the I don't know, the expectations are for more, excuse me, sorry, like neurotypical expectations basically, and anything outside of that is just viewed as that you're not doing it. Like, that's it. Yeah. Like, oh, I'm 5 minutes late for work because I'm trying to manage the kids before I get out the door, and trying to manage myself before I get out the door, and some days it just doesn't work. So
It's hard.
yeah, so just everything gets harder, which sucks.
ADHD, by definition, is a neurodevelopmental disorder that has significant impairment for people, not in just one place, but across their entire life, day to day, whether it's at school, whether it's at home, whether it's with friends. It causes a lot of challenge in being able to pay attention to what's going on around them, to read the room, to be able to focus on schoolwork, focus on instructions, get through our day-to-day activities like getting ready in the morning, ready for bed. And it can really cause a lot of problems for kids, like socializing, because they can be impulsive, they want to be in control, they want to be the boss. And it's really hard to be flexible and adjust for that. And so a lot of kids really struggle at school, at home, and with their friends when they have ADHD.
The entire world is kind of set up in a way that is not advantageous for us. It is not built for us, and yet we are judged for not being able to thrive in it.